Nancy Wolf, responsible for their 17 children who make up the band, say they would do it all over again if they could. They normally take the stage with 14, but as many as 19 family members have performed at one time. The Wolves have appeared on ABC's That's Incredible. They practice 6 nights a week in their kitchen.
When we got married and as we had the children, I wanted the kids to have the same experience. So first I taught them all the piano, and then I tried to teach them myself the instruments, but I didn't know that much. So then a friend heard about it, and he gave the kids lessons for nothing right in the beginning. And really he took the whole, as we got better and better, he took the whole family, and every Saturday for nothing, took us for about 2 hours teaching us how to be a band together.
Now, as the kids were growing up, some of them are still growing up. Do they still practice willfully?
Oh, yeah. So there's sometimes, of course, you got to say time for practice. But generally speaking, they all take their instruments up because they know it's very important for them to keep up their powers because we're performing almost every week or every 2 weeks.
Well, after the children were able to read, Nancy taught them all the piano. And the first instrument that they played thereafter was the one that we selected for them for the band. And if you see us in performance, you'll always note older children with younger children in a particular section. Our purpose in selecting the instruments for the particular child was to perpetuate the nucleus of the band. Because you always want to maintain trumpets, trombones, saxophones, clarinets, and the rhythm section is pretty stable with my wife Nancy and me on the drums and an older son Mark who's on the bass. But as the older children leave, then the younger children take over. And in section, the older child continually instructs the younger children in his section.
They have to rely on one another because they have to fill in. If somebody misses a note, they have to fill it. Like one time we were playing in Milwaukee, and it was a Christmas program. Okay, so we were supposed to be playing White Christmas. Well, here comes Becky with Winter Wonderland, and so it's first trumpet, playing a melody. So everybody kind of just, they didn't get upset, frantic or anything. They just kind of played around with the notes there until all of a sudden Becky goes, and all of a sudden here comes White Christmas.
To grow up in a family with so many brothers and sisters?
Well, it's of course kind of hectic, but it's really good too, just because there's so many people you can talk to, you can hang around with, or play with, just there's just so much.
I like it. I've never had any other choice, so
I know. Our second youngest has Down syndrome, and she has been, I think, talking about life. People some say, oh, retarded or that, but she has been, like we call our reward for having everybody else, because she gives the family. She really has drawn the family together, and everybody works very hard. We're really very proud of her because she can read, and she reads by phonetics, which is a very hard thing for Down syndrome children to do, and she's learning to play the trumpet, and she plays the marimba, and things when we think about how when she was young, how I didn't think she could do hardly anything, and the children have all worked together. This is another instance where and so many times the teachers and people that we have talked to that are in authority and will say, it's because she has such a large family, because she has the backing of everybody in the family.
If you had to do it all over again, would you do it the same way?
Sure would. I sure would. I love them all, and there's a lot. And I'll start crying. But I love them all very much, and there'd be oh gosh, thanks. You tell them.
Oh, sure, we'd do it over again. And in fact, we were very disappointed when no more children were coming. But God knows best, and our youngest one is now 10 or 11, and we're of course not going to be living forever, and so probably about the time that we leave the world, she'll be in a position to have assumed her own majority, and we'll get along pretty well.
The Wolves recently appeared in Gurnee and Viking Park and have been invited to perform aboard a luxury liner at Navy Pier in Chicago. The excellent musicians are listed in the files of the Guinness Book of World Records as the largest single-family band in the world. The Wolves electrify audiences wherever they play as they enter into their night.